Mr. Groin?
Here, sir.
I'll be needing a body for this.
I'm Chris P, and I run an animation studio named Titmouse. And actually, one of the very early jobs we did was The Amazing Screw-On Head, which was a Mike Mignola project.
Screw-On Head was that rare thing where I felt I got it exactly right the first time. I just made up this thing on the fly. This odd parade of images I wanted to draw with this silly mechanical head. It's not a coherent universe. It's just, literally I went through books and looked for things I wanted to draw. You know, oh, here's an old World War I artillery piece. I want to draw that. And I put all that shit together.
Mike's stuff just felt so different and so new and so innovative. And it's like, that's something I have not yet seen. So yeah, I was a fan immediately. Screw-On Head was one of the ones that I picked up and I'm like, well, this is a really weird one-off, man. This is bizarre, but I dug it, of course, you know. It's like, exactly, it was perfect to me. It's like the perfect form of like a one-shot. And I didn't think about it for a while until I got a call from a guy named Jason Netter. And he came to me and he's like, hey, I'm looking for a director for this Amazing Screw-On Head. I was like, holy shit, I know what that is. It was like, I rapidly responded, and I wonder if I was the only guy who that forcefully he was like, you have to let me do this. So we did it. We're working on a Hellboy, like kind of OVA direct-to-video at Cartoon Network or maybe Warner Brothers, whatever. I remember Mike was looking at that footage, that's just like, hey, the Hellboy thing they made was cool, but it was like a departure from the book. And I know, you know, that's becoming its own thing. With this Screw-On Head, I just want it to look like the book, man. Can you make it look like the book? And I was like, that is exactly what I want to do, because I had seen some of the Hellboy stuff and, you know, it's fine, like really nice production value on that, but it didn't look like the book. And I was like, somebody needs to make his art come to life, because that, to me, that's what drew me to it. So I was like, you are preaching to the choir, man. Brian Fuller, who wrote the script and was the EP on it, was a huge fan, and he wrote the script. He interpreted it in a way that I felt like he had just the right, perfect tone for it, right? And it was on that same call where I was talking to Mike, you know, the script came up and he was like, I don't really get it, but that's not what this show is about, right? He's like, this is not a show that's about logic. He's like, it's not gonna live on the premise, it's gonna live on the execution. The executive who optioned it, who had greenlit it for a pilot, is this guy named Mark Stern. We're going in and meet with him. It's me and Jason Netter. I did whatever song and dance I had to do. He's like, okay, cool, I like you. I think we should move forward, but there's one thing you have to know. I'm the only guy at the network that likes this project. So don't fuck it up. Like, nobody likes this project here but me, so it's gonna be a really hard battle. So we kind of knew going in that it was gonna be a tough fight to get this over the hill. I feel like we had like a year or a year and a half, so it was like spread out. We had a small crew. Like, it's always, to me, the luxury, if you can have less people and more time, it always results in a purer creative process. Mike was, you know, I had some conversations with him in the beginning, and then touch base every once in a while. He'd see stuff, but I didn't talk to him like very frequently during the production until we got to the record. Like, we show up to the record and, you know, we do the boards first. So you bring the storyboards, and that's back when you would board on paper and you'd have these heavy storyboards, and we bring the boards, you know, 3 acts of a storyboard, a 22-minute board. It's like this tall of like, and we'd like, boom, flop them down on the table. It's like, we're gonna go through this. It was the first time he'd seen the boards, and he was just going through them. He's like, man, you guys got to draw a lot of panels. Like, they seemed to be amazed at, like, you know, I only had to draw this many for the book. Look at all these you had to do to make it into a cartoon. I'm like, yeah, man, that's a lot of drawings to make a storyboard. But that seemed to be, he was like, luckily he wasn't like, and it also sucks. He was like, oh, and it's good too.
Coming, Mr. President! I'm coming, Mr. President!
That record was really fun. I mean, because of the location of most of the talent, I think for some reason, like David Hyde Pierce was like doing something on Broadway, and I think Paul Giamatti was in New York at the same time. So we're like, hey, it's going to be easier if we fly to New York for the main record. I think we did Patton in LA, and he was real happy because he came in and he's like, first thing, because I'd known him, he'd been doing animation voices forever, right? He's like the best. Everybody knows that. But we do it before everybody else. And he was like, who's playing Screw-On Head? And we're like, Paul Giamatti. He's like, Giamatti?
Sounds like Emperor Zombie.
Giamatti's playing Screw-On Head. He was so happy. I remember he was like, oh man, I'm so happy to be involved with this project. He was so into it.
I had read Amazing Screw-On Head when it first came out. I loved it. I loved those last 3 pages of 3 horrible women and a monkey. Gorgeous. And then I got involved because I just got asked to audition, and I got the part of the butler.
Go to New York, and I come up to New York, so I was back and forth there a lot. Anyway, Paul Giamatti shows up, and he comes over to me, you know, because I'm introduced as like the director of the project, and he had spilled like soup on his shirt, and he was like, it was just like a Paul Giamatti character in a movie. He's like, oh, hey, man, I'm going to be in this scene with David Hyde Pierce. And even though he was big back then, he wasn't as big as he is now. And he was like, that guy's like a real actor. Like, can I, like, is there anywhere I could, like, wash off my shirt and, like, and clean up a bit? Because I don't want to, like, I don't want the first time he sees me, I have this big soup stain on my shirt. So we had to, like, figure out, like, some little, like, you know, green room bathroom for him to go and, like, scrub his shirt off. And he did. And finally, so when David Hyde Pierce shows up, he looked fine and beautiful.
You'll evaporate without combustion. All the knowledge you've attained in your life of study will be vapor in my lungs.
It was one of the surreal experiences of my life watching them do the voices, because it never occurred to me that these guys would do it.
Hello, Allahu Akbar.
You know, in animation, you don't always get your actors in the booth at the same time. It's actually super common for like Molly Shannon. We recorded out here at Titmouse.
Sadly for you, the dismal pleasure's all mine.
I remember where we recorded everybody. We recorded them all different, you know, it's like, it's up to their availability, right? But when you can get 2 of your lead actors in the same booth at the same time, it's always preferable because you get that acting chemistry. They could play off each other, and having your hero and your villain together was really key. So that was great, and they were great. So we finish it, you know, we get it to a point where we like it, and then once you finish it, you send it to the network, right?
We're coming for you, America!
It didn't end up getting picked up, right? But at least Mark Stern, the executive, had set that up at the beginning. This is going to be really hard to get this picked up. The thing that was like the most stressful thing for me was to find out what Mike thought of it, right? Because it's really the only person I wanted to please on this thing besides myself, right? And then thankfully he did this like interview about it and like gushed about it and said how much he loved it. And I was like, oh, okay, good. But yeah, man, I was real happy to hear that he actually liked it. I think Amazing Screw-On Head would have a great shot airing today. There wasn't that same kind of like absurdist show. There were like absurdist comedies, like Adult Swim had like, you know, Aqua Teen Hunger Force or Space Ghost, but they didn't have that production value. It wasn't until years later that we started making shows for Adult Swim with like Metalocalypse or, you know, obviously Venture Brothers or Black Dynamite, or shows that married those two together. It was such a departure from what anything that anybody was doing. Anything that nothing looked like that. Nothing had a story like that. Nothing had characters like that. Nothing had a tone like that. It was comedy, but it was also absurdist. I bet if something were to come out like this now, it would be embraced. There's so many weird shows and so many weird live action shows based on comics. I think it was ahead of its time.
What's happening?
happening? We have a security breach. Pack only what's necessary. Leave the rest behind.
Commander, we just received this.
Then we have a traitor. Step away from her. She's a spy. She's not a spy. Be still! Make way for Sardonor's Please, don't hurt me. Just take what you want.
You're what I want.
Get me screw-on head. There are two histories, one that is told and one that isn't. I, Abraham Lincoln, do order that America's strangest, most secret histories will only be recorded in one book. These are the adventures of the amazing screw-on head. Screw-on head. Calling screw-on head. Screw-on head. Screw-on head.
Coming, Mr. President. Yes, sir.
Tell me what you know about the Kazakhstan fragment.
Scrawled on unshaven goat skin, it supposedly details the life of Gong the Magnificent, who nearly conquered the world in 9632 BC using supernatural powers derived from a fabulous melon-sized jewel.
Supposedly?
The fragment is untranslatable.
And missing. It disappeared from the Museum of Dangerous Books and Paper, along with their foremost expert on ancient evil texts.
Professor Fruin?
He was abducted by two horrible old women and a monkey.
Sounds like Emperor Zombie.
Sounds like you're right.
Then Fruin's deciphered the fragment.
And Zombie's got them both. The belly's telling me he's scratching to finish the job Gung started 10,000 years ago. Given your personal history with Emperor Zombie, I can't ask you.
That I'm volunteering.
Our informant in Marrakesh has given us the precise location of Fruin's last known whereabouts. The trail starts there.
All due respect, Mr. President, the trail starts with your informant in Marrakesh. Mr. Groin?
Here, sir.
I'll be needing a body for this.
What about Lucky 13?
Anything, only let us have progress.
Yes, hurrying along. So what's this I hear about a personal history with Emperor Zombie?
Oh, that's nothing. There's a history. I wouldn't call it personal.
Oh, pardon me if I'm being too familiar, but I find it odd considering the 7 gentlemen who preceded me in this position were all killed by Emperor Zombie. That seems personal.
I'm not comfortable with this level of intimacy from someone in your position, Mr. Groin.
Yes, sir.
Oh, very well. I was instructed not to tell you as a matter of national security, but since you've asked. In life, Emperor Zombie was H.G. Manifold, Mr. Manifold. The Mr. before the 7 that were murdered, and you. In many ways, he was my favorite. He was certainly the smartest, had a taste for ancient, forbidden knowledge. Tragically, it was his undoing.
Evidently not, sir. He's still kicking about causing trouble.
Yes, it's as I always say. All really intelligent people should be cremated for reasons of public safety.
Better late than never, I say.
Being too familiar. Ready, Mr. Groin?
Ready, Mr. Head?
Godspeed, screw-on head.
Patience. To what do we owe this dismal pleasure?
Sadly for you, the dismal pleasure's all mine. You see, Emperor Zombie has a problem, and he calls me, and he says, fix it. So here we are, fixing things.
Tell us, Rat Lady, what are we fixing?
You? It seems you're a bit of a get-around girl who likes to talk. Yes, please. Screw.
Patience. Patience.
Screw.
You make me feel alive and full-bodied. I look into your eyes and see there's a life outside my head. I love...
I want to say it first. I love...
Mine now.
Damn you, Mr. Manifold! Excuse me. Damn you, Emperor Zombie!
Still living in your head?
Where is Professor Fruin?
So it's all business, is it? The head I fell in love with was so much more chatty. Ah, but that was before you allowed me to be horribly murdered and turned into the foul beast that stands before you. You're sweet. I wasn't fishing for that, but thank you.
Is this how you spend your days? Zombie's errand girl, running around telling rats to kill people?
Rats like me.
Of course they do. You're vermin.
You used to love this vermin.
I used to a lot of things, Patience. And speaking of patience, I'm running out of mine. Goodbye, my former love.
I've got her!
Know something I don't know.
Who's there? What is the meaning of this?
I thought I was clear. You know something I don't know.
I'll tell you everything.
I want to know what this says.
The scroll of Gung? It's untranslatable.
Why steal a book you can't read? That's silly.
I was attempting to translate it.
Ooh, how far'd you get?
Not very.
You're no fun. Piggy little professor keeping Gung's secrets all to himself. There's only one way to truly know everything you know.
Ask politely.
I'm going to smoke you. Last words before I spark it?
Wait! I know where Gung's temple is.
Oops, so do I. Just can't get inside the damn thing. Ricky. Now I know everything you know. There's actually a little joke in here. Gung was funny.
Where's Zombie? Where's Zombie? Where? Where?
Ed, a word. Crack a window, Mr. Groin. Let's not have the Oval Office smelling like burnt hair. The nature of this investigation has become much too personal. We're dealing with undead perversions of the only woman you ever loved and your most trusted manservant who vowed to do away with all subsequent manservants in the cruelest means imaginable.
Perhaps you should lower your voice, Mr. President. Groin's been rather invasive and a tad familiar as of late. He could be hatching a plot.
He's not zombie. Groin's looking out for your behind, Head. You can't keep him at arm's length.
I admit there are unresolved issues, but I won't allow them to get in the way of national security. America is depending on me, Mr. President. And by America, I mean the world. He's picked up a scent. We're coming for you, zombie.
Suges garsos cum etiac sotte maiotto ele critmaios, gan falso, let's dibby car!
Who says smoking people is bad for you?
Turn back, lest great vengeances be leveled against thee, for this is the temple of Gung. And what do you have to say?
You've done it. Eh?
I'm so excited, I just made water in my pantaloons. I wish Patience was here. Not that I don't like you. I do. It's just she's not quite so old. She's old, but not like you. Not like that. You understand? Ooh, look, it's Gung.
Foolish mortal.
Do I look mortal to you?
Here it is. Gung Agroesh, the left eye of Nog, the jewel worshipped by the wizards of Mu and the black priests of Atlantis, finally passed down to Gung the Magnificent, who was chosen by the gods to conquer the world with it. And now, it's my... Ew. It's not a jewel, it's a dirty old piece of crap.
It's a turnip, and it looks like it has a small parallel universe inside.
Open! I can't bear to wait a moment longer.
I'm about to make contact.
Stop right there.
Screw on, Head. I was just saying how nice it'd be if Patience were here to share this moment, and there she is. You granted my wish. Hello, darling.
Hello, my love.
Unless your wish is to see her die, I suggest you put down that turnip.
In this, my greatest hour, I do have another wish, but it's not that. It's to have a happy reconciliation with the head that gave me purpose. After all, I wouldn't be the zombie I am today if it weren't for you.
Your purpose is world domination. And don't put your damage on me, pal. I get enough of that from this one.
I'm merely expressing gratitude.
Perhaps you might express an apology.
Oh, no, he didn't. Apologize to you? Pardon me if I say poppycock.
Then say it.
Poppycock.
You let America down.
You let me down. You went on and on about how sweet the candy was, then told me not to put it in my mouth and got mad at me when I did.
If by candy you mean ancient forbidden evil, then yes, I told you not to put it in your mouth.
I think your forbidden evil is fresh as a daisy.
Thank you, darling.
My arm's getting tired.
Nobody moves or Patience dies. Again. Permanently.
Ah, yes, if you can't have her, then no one can. Patience, darling, do I have permission to let Head stake you if it means world domination?
Yes, my love.
No.
Plug it in.
Stop! You'll release the demigod!
You mean that big magical thing you used to conquer the world thousands of years ago? Then I believe introductions are in order. Plug it.
Free at last from my vegetable prison. Your poor
sad, insignificant brains cannot conceive of the horror that is coming now. Right now. Right this very instant. Now. The horror.
I can't allow that.
Bah! You are an irritant to me. Time to begin the horror.
By all means, let's! Emperor Zombie, how'd you do? I'm here to advise you on dispensing horror in this modern military climate. I understand you're a demigod. That's fantastic.
Well, I don't know about fantastic.
I do, if I may be so bold.
Be bold. I command you.
I have an impressive resume in the service industry, as the man you just crushed can testify. I've been looking for a master worthy of my servitude, and baby, you are it! There's artillery now, big guns that shoot giant rocks that bruise and dismember, which is why you need artillery too.
And an army of the undead.
Also an army of the undead.
I always wanted one of those.
You dig up the corpses and I'll make them your slaves.
Emperor Zombie, you're a fiend.
Boo-hoo, you had your chance. And it's Mr. Zombie now, for I answer to the mighty demigod. Mr. Dog, did you come to save the day? When I was alive and he was alive, he won Best in Show 10 times running. Well, the show's over now, Mr. Dog, and this time you didn't win. Would you mind stepping on him? Mr. Groin?
Mr. Zombie?
This is the best day ever. It marks the end of Amazing Screw-On Head and brings closure to my petty vengeance fetish with his manservants.
Your petty vengeance fetish will have to do without Mr. Groin.
At the face!
The world will be made to suffer for this indignity.
Indignity? I'll have you know, I work for the President of the United States of America.
I'm beside myself.
Good work, Mr. Groin. Now to beat a hasty retreat.
Where? Good show, Mr. Gung.
Thanks to you, Mr. Groin, I vanquished my greatest enemy today, who sadly happened to be my closest friend. Too long I've been living in my head, friendless and alone, scarred by past betrayals. I must learn to trust again, and damn it, Mr. Groin, you're gonna show me how. From here on out, you be as familiar as you like.
Yes, sir. How do you like that, Mr. Dog?
Damn you, patience! Another job well done, Screw-On Head. Once again, the Earth is a safe place for living humans.
Let's not be lulled into a false sense of security. According to Mr. Gung, our new representative from the Paleolithic era, the Northern American continent was once home to civilizations with strange technologies, some of them in contact with alien worlds.
God only knows what...
Not unless spoken to. You must be bold in your actions, Mr. President. There's an America beyond the Mississippi that requires a threat assessment.
But how? If the Confederates learn of our agenda, they'll undermine us at every turn.
Then we act under the auspices of spurring Western migration.
By gum, that's it.
We're coming for you, America!